tell you right now to your face. That is what gay men do. When you go on these live streams, pick one. Pick any of the live streams where the gay men stream. Do you know what they do? Gay men and women do exposes. They do, oh, I caught you with a girl. I caught you with this. I caught you with that.
All right, everybody, listen up, because I need to address this video that's been flooding my inbox nonstop. So many of you sent me this clip where Corey Holcomb is allegedly calling out Anton Daniels for cheating on his wife. And yes, I saw the comments. A lot of y'all came at me sideways. I wasn't just getting this from one source either. This video was sent to me by a ton of different people. Corey claims Anton tried to bring a woman onto the show. According to him, this woman is supposedly signed to Anton's podcast network. Anton, on the other hand, says it was a woman named Mika who's been on his show multiple times. Now hold up, let me say this clearly and quickly. First things first, I was not there. I don't know exactly who was present and who wasn't, okay? So if I'm wrong on any of that, cool, I can own that. All I've seen are clips, and in those clips, Anton has been traveling with Mika and a few other women tied to his podcast. That part isn't new information. That doesn't automatically mean he was sneaking around if he was openly showing her on the platform. He's already given his explanation. Now let's rewind for a second. I'm making this as a follow-up video. Again, I'm responding strictly to what was put out there publicly. I don't care personally. I don't have a dog in this fight. Some of you are saying Anton promotes women on his podcast network. You're saying he talks about that openly and all of that. So let me say this very plainly. If I'm wrong about any of this, again, I can't definitively prove anything. All I said was that if this situation is true, then yeah, it looks bad. But here's where things get interesting. Okay, listen to this part. Number one, if you are Anton Daniels or anyone positioned on the right, image matters. And I have to talk about this because y'all need to understand how optics work. Me and Anton aren't close. We don't really talk anymore or anything like that. I review his videos sometimes, and yeah, he makes points here and there, but here's the framework we have to examine. If Anton Daniels showed up to Corey Holcomb's podcast with a woman named Mika and wanted to bring Mika onto Corey's show, if that's his explanation, and Corey tells him, nah, get out of here with the chick you paid with, and Anton leaves the podcast, and that clip goes public, and then Anton later tries to explain it away, at that point, it becomes Corey Holcomb's word versus Anton's. That's the reality. Second point, if you're a married man of over 20 years, and yeah, I'm single, but I'm speaking within the framework Anton presents himself in. He presents himself as a married man, as an outlier within the Black community, as a conservative, and as someone who operates within very specific moral frameworks. If you're traveling with women who are not your wife, if you're showing up to podcasts with women who are not your wife, and then you go on a show where things go left and this information comes out from someone you're already in a heated back and forth with, you don't get to turn around and blame O'Shea for spreading bad info. And you want to know why that argument doesn't work? Because this happens all the time in this space. A lot of YouTubers move like this. A lot of podcasters move like this. They bring women around the set, on the side, behind the scenes, whatever. Now, if him and his wife have some type of agreement, that's between them. But the issue is that this situation came out publicly on Corey Holcomb's podcast. And it would be a very different conversation if Anton wasn't constantly critical of the Black community and didn't position himself as someone who, let's be real, presents as a man who doesn't make the same mistakes as everybody else. Now sure, he can come back and say, well, where did I ever say that? And technically, he didn't say he was perfect, but the implication is clear. I don't make excuses, I move a certain way, I do X, Y, and Z, and I'm always growing. Okay, cool.
So then when you bring someone to a podcast that Corey Holcomb didn't know, and you attempt to get her on the show, and Corey says that's your side check, and then you later come out defending it, that's where the problem starts. Because you have to understand the mystique you've already sold to the public. You've put out there that you're conservative. You've put out there that you're Christian. You've put out there that you're married. That's the brand. That's the code you say you live by. If you're working with or traveling with other women strictly for business, fine. But remember, you lead with, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm this, I'm that. The moment information like this becomes public because of an argument that, let's be honest, could have gone either way, the narrative changes. Anton had a chance to walk away earlier. Corey had a chance to walk away earlier. Neither one of them did. Okay? Anton even called Corey Holcomb a Neanderthal. Those were his words. So if you didn't want this level of exposure, understand that only a few people were actually there. From what we can see, it was Anton, Corey, and others. We don't know exactly who Anton brought with him. But once it's out there and people start talking and people start wondering if there's a side situation or some kind of arrangement, it looks bad. It just does. I don't care how you spin it. And the reason it looks bad is because Anton is extremely critical of everything else. That's the key. If you aren't so critical of everything in the black world and everything in the black community, this wouldn't hit the same. Like I've said before, he doesn't really hold white conservatives to the same level of accountability. And look, I'm a registered Republican myself. But when all your criticism is aimed at black people or white liberals, which is easy work, you have to understand what you're building. You create a vacuum. You create a house with rules so strict that eventually you can't even live in it yourself. So when you say you're a Christian, when you say you're an American, when you say you're a father, when you say you're this and that, but then you're pulling up to shows with someone you claim is just a female YouTuber you've had on other podcasts, and nobody can clearly see it or prove it, and then someone you're beefing with says take your side chick and get out of here, that's an issue. Yeah, that's a problem. It's a problem because you're in a heated exchange with another man and that's how he frames your exit. And then you don't immediately come back out and directly address that allegation. Now maybe it really was nothing, but let's be honest, it looks bad. That's the situation. It looks bad. And sure, he may not have been doing anything inappropriate, but the issue is you went on Corey Holcomb's show, things got heated, and once it started getting hot, nobody shut it down and walked away. You didn't do it, Corey didn't do it either. You both came back, clashed again, almost got into a physical situation, and everything escalated. So then, if you're out here hanging with women, and again, I have to say this, if your value system is centered on saying the black community doesn't value marriage anymore, that we used to be married, that we used to be Republican, then pulling up to a podcast with someone who is not your wife doesn't exactly scream conservative to me. It doesn't look very conservative to you either. No matter how you slice it, it doesn't look very Christian to me. What does look conservative and Christian is being in public spaces with your wife by your side. That looks conservative to me. That looks Christian to me. And the reason is simple. That's the foundation he built his platform on. He built his platform as a father. He built his platform as a businessman. So when information like this hits the public, it hits differently. Now y'all are looking at me like I'm the one out of line. I'm not.
I didn't go to that podcast. I didn't get into a dust-up. I didn't almost fight anybody. I didn't do any of that. So if this was this woman people are calling makeup or whatever her name is, I don't really watch Anton Daniels anymore, or hardly at all. So that's not my issue. Again, I don't dislike Anton. I don't dislike Corey. But let's keep it real. People like Corey, people like me, we're certified in what we do. We don't hide it. We don't mind saying how we move. We spin how we spin. So if Corey Holcomb pulled up to a podcast with somebody else, nobody would blink. That's fine. But if you are Anton and you've talked about these values publicly, including on shows like Fresh and Fit, then the standard is different. He's been in women's DMs before on Instagram. That's not speculation, that's documented behavior. So in that sense, he already put himself out there. Now some of y'all are saying, oh, you're defaming him. Hold up, how am I defaming the man? I'm not defaming anybody. Even after I dropped a critical video about Anton Daniels about 3 months ago when I publicly said I disagreed with him, I've also made multiple videos giving him credit where credit was due. I've acknowledged his work ethic. I've acknowledged moments where I agreed with how he handled certain situations or called people out. I've done that more than once. Now, me and Anton don't communicate anymore. That's true, but that's not what this is about. I'm addressing the situation. Because if I come out here saying I stand on X, Y, and Z, and then people see me operating in what appears to be the opposite direction,
Even if I'm not actually doing anything wrong, it still raises eyebrows. You can't escape that. It looks suspicious. It just does. And I don't understand why some of y'all are fundamentally uncomfortable with that reality. Why is that controversial to say? Oh, he was with Ma. We don't know that. None of us were there. And even if he later explains that she was there, it doesn't change the fact that now you're on defense. Why? Because the initial claim came from Corey Holcomb. That's the source people heard first. Now, yes, it's possible he was trying to get her on the show for business reasons. That could absolutely be the case. I'm not denying that, but optics matter. And from an optics standpoint, it doesn't look good, especially when the framework already exists of someone in the Black community being portrayed as disloyal, not loyal to their spouse, not loyal to the values they preach. And when that narrative comes from someone else publicly, that's the real issue. So listen, what do y'all think? It's your boy OSH J Jackson back at it again, another episode of the Slurp Junk. If you rock with the content, subscribe, hit the bell, we're out.